All right, 212. Some more practice on identifying what type of an account it is, and if it increases the account, and what the normal balance is. So we have a list of accounts. They want us to identify each account as an asset, liability, or element of equity, identify whether the account is increased with their debit or credit, and whether the normal balance is a debit or a credit. Okay, well, remember, the normal balance and how you increase it kind of go hand in hand. All right, but anyway, interest revenue. Interest revenue is an element of equity. All right, revenue ultimately increases equity, so therefore its normal balance is a credit, and it's also increased with a credit. All right, accounts payable is an element of liabilities, or is a liability. All right, the normal balance of liabilities are credits, and they're increased with the credit. All right, common stock is an element of equity. Since it's an element of equity, it's increased with the credit, and its normal balance is a credit. Office supplies are assets. Assets normally have a debit balance, so you increase them with the debit, and their normal balance is a debit. All right, advertising expense, it's an element of equity, but it decreases equity. So since its effect on equity is to decrease it, then increases to expenses are recorded with debits, and the normal balance of an expense is a debit. All right, unearned revenue is a liability. So therefore, you increase it with a credit, and its normal balance is a credit. Prepaid rent is an asset. Since it's an asset, you increase it with a debit, and its normal balance is a debit. All right, utilities expense, here we have the expense again. So it's going to work the same way as that advertising expense up there. So it's an element of equity, but it decreases equity, so you increase it with a debit, and its normal balance is a debit. All right, dividends are an element of equity. They decrease equity, so an increase to a dividend is recorded with a debit, and its normal balance is a debit. Service revenue is part of equity. It increases equity, so therefore you increase it with the credit, and its normal balance is a credit. These are good things to review, so when you're doing the journal entries, it'll help you to know what accounts and what you should debit and credit.